Hello and welcome back again, Power BI enthusiasts, to the Power App tutorial channel. We are continuing with our part 3 of our Create a Power BI report for the 2024 series. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscription button, add that notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. But let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get on with the video. Now, the last thing we did when we were in our report was create this visual and then add some data for our animal info to, and I said we were going to create something else called a date table. It's one of the requirements for Power BI is that you always have a date table, regardless of if you use a date table to use the date table or not, you still need a date table. So this is a requirement that you have to learn. The easiest way that I know how to create a date table is using a DAX formula, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's just go ahead and start building our dates table. So the first thing we're going to do is hit the table view so we can go to the table, and I'm going to click on this that says create a table. So click on that. Now it might look different on yours, but it should be this write a DAX expression to create a new table. So just click on that once you get to the table. And once you get to the table view, and we're going to rename this. So rename it to dim dates and hit commit for it to change names. All right. And now we are going to write the first formula for creating a date table, and that's going to be calendar auto. And the calendar auto is a function that automatically creates a calendar table based on the data model we have in. So it will look at all the dates that we have in our model and create an automated calendar. So just hit commit to start creating our table. And as you can see, some data is already appearing below. So I'm just going to reduce this so we can see what we're coming up with. Awesome. And we have about 2,192 rows based on all the dates that we have in our report right now. All right. But what is the point of having a table with only one column? So we need to add more columns. And we're going to use a formula called add columns to add more columns. So just go back to the formula bar and we're going to put in a new formula, and it's going to be add columns for the new formula. And I went ahead and added another column so we can show you what add column does. So it basically adds to the columns as the name implies. And this time around, we're grabbing just the month ID. So it's going to be 1. And then when you go all the way down, 1, 2, all the way to, and you can sort this by month ID. But before we start sorting, I want to add more columns to this. So we put in more formulas. Okay, I'm back. And this time around, I decided to add the months. So we're going to get back the months in January or February format. And then we're going to get back the day number. So 1 to 31. And then we're also going to get back the months, the days in Mondays and Tuesdays. So in words. And then IDs for the weekdays. And finally, we're going to get the year date. So it's 2001 or 2002, 2023, and all that. These are just going to be what we're going to do for now. So when you're done, and you can pause and type this in. And I'm still going to put this in the description so you can just copy and paste too. But once you're done with this, just commit to grab this new formula and create our new columns. Awesome. They looking good so far. So as you can see, this is basically what a date column is going. Our date table is going to be a representation of. So it's just going to grab all, like I said, it grabs, it goes and looks through your data, and based on the dates that you have in your data, it creates. And we first created this calendar auto, and then now we're just breaking down those calendar auto into different ways so that we can read them better and use them in our model. The last thing we are going to add to our date column are actually special fields, which we are going to use later in our measures. Um, if you remember, one of the requirements are trends and analysis that are going to be done based on like a month-to-month basis. So we're going to add that in right now. Okay, so I'm back again, and so these are the last three columns that we're going to add to the. So we're going to add a today formula, so we can get today's data, and then we're going to use that today also in calculating the last 1 month and calculating the last 3 months. And we're doing this so that we can actually use it when we're creating our measures. And then the last thing right here is just to refresh the data so that we always have a new fresh source of data. So if someone adds like a new date, this will help make sure that our date column is always refreshed and up to date. All right, well, when you're done with typing it in, and you can pause and type it in, this is going to be a last commit. Just hit commit to grab the last batch of data. And once that's done, don't forget to hit save. Okay, so now that we have our date table, one last thing we need to do for our date table is to call it a date table. So to call it a date table, there are different ways of doing this. I'm just going to use what I have in front of me. So right click on the dim dates, and if you go down, you would see right under hiding reports view, mark as a date table. Just click on that, and it's going to ask you if you want to mark it as a date table. Click on that. Just click on, choose a date column, choose date, and it's to say validation successful, and then hit save. And now we have marked our new date, dim date as our date table. Once that's done, hit save again, and we're gonna jump straight to our model view. So click on the model tab, and hopefully our date table would have been automatically added in. Here we go. Okay. So our date table is here, but as you can see, our shelter home doesn't have, our shelter home has a connection, but our date table doesn't have a connection. So we are going to actually create this connection manually to form a relationship. And so click on this add, edit, or remove relationship between tables. Hopefully we can get it to auto detect. So we could do it manually also, but let's try and see if we can get it to auto detect. So click on auto detect and see if that works. Okay, watch. No such luck. That didn't work. So we have to do it manually. So hit new relationship, and we're gonna go from animal table. So grab the animal info, and we're going to be going to our date table. So grab the dim date info. And for the animal info, we're going to use the animal date of arrival. Trying to see if I have the right one here. And then we're going to use dates for dim dates. Let's expand this a little and see if we have the right one. Animal date of adoption. Nope, that's not the one we want. We want the date of arrival. Yep. So it's going to be date of arrival with the dates, with the current dates. Yeah, leave it as many to one, single cross filter, make this relationship active, and then hit save. It's going to spin for a minute and then create a relationship for us. Awesome. So we have two active relationships, and we are starting to actually get our star formula for our Power BI model. And animal info is going to be our center table that we're going to draw all our info from, but we still needed this theme dates table, which is going to get us our independent value for our dates, and then we have our shelter home on the left. And we're going to create one more table called a measure table, and this table is going to hold all our measures. So before we start, because we can go ahead right now and start creating reports, but most of the reports that we're going to be creating are going to be based on tables. So I want to get the tables out of the